Hello, everybody. My name is Sarah, and this is Pearls of Wisdom and Food with keto, carnivore, carnivish, however you're eating. It's funny because the more that I have a little something something in my food plan that's more keto than carnivore, say the 4 raspberries I had, that's a raspberry. More and more people come forward and share that they also have little things that wouldn't necessarily be for the card carrying carnivore that is strict and on the mountain and, threatens to throw you off because you had something that wasn't 100% carnivore. So more and more people come forward and, it's what works for the person. And that is what is important. They often say that your gut is your second brain. Dr. Perlmutter often says it that way. I tend to feel that my gut is maybe my first brain. I don't know. But I eat according to what my gut is saying will work for me. And as a lot of you know, I was developing this aversion to beef. And it was getting, it was even in the stores, walking past the few pieces of beef that they offer. And I will still have my probably ribeye off of the big green egg on Sunday, but the rest of the week is and my burger, my messy burger on Friday, but definitely the rest of the week is going to be dedicated to other things like a pork chop, a chicken breast, some cottage cheese, things like that. And it just feels better in my gut. And I'm letting my gut tell me, an omelet, even with cheese and avocado in it. So simpler things, it seems lighter. I don't know. But it's funny to just go with what works and having my gut dictate the way instead of me putting into the chronometer that on Thursday I'm having this and that, and by the time I get to Thursday, I'm like, I don't want to have it. So it's just new. It's just things always change, right? When you're doing your food plan the way that you are, and I'm almost 70, so I really have almost 70. I look at my food plan as healthy and what keeps me feeling well, what keeps me going throughout the day. So I'm not, thinking of snacking or cheating or having too mad. I have one meal a day and it really does work for me. I hear people say what they have for like a snack. They get really hungry, or what they have for a treat. They want to have it. It carries them, and so they do it. And I totally honor what works because we each are so individual, and so it works. One woman said that it leads me more and more to think of carnivore as an elimination diet, and kind of like when you're trying to get to the bottom of what you have an allergy with, and you give up the eggs, and then you give up the cheese, and then you give up maybe you're still having milk. Maybe you're having spinach and you realize that that's not really agreeing with you, or maybe you're having a kale smoothie and that's really not agreeing with you. And so we, little by slowly, sometimes give up the things to see what we end up with, where the dust settles. And so I did carnivore for like 8 to 10 months. I'm not really sure how long. And, it was strict. And it was mostly beef products. I remember having like a pork rib or pork chop like maybe once a month out of all of those days. And so now I'm adding back a little something, something, very slow motion. I mean, when I said I had 4 raspberries, and maybe some of you saw that on that plate, it was a pretty plate with the filet mignon and the cottage cheese and the avocado and the bacon. It was delightful. And it was 4 raspberries, so I definitely am going slowly into having any of that. So far, my carbs have not been above 7 total. And so I definitely, hopefully, will be the sort that I have 10 total carbs or fewer. And, some people comment to me that they have like 20 total, 20 net carbs, and it's what works for you. And I remember when I first began all of this, the discipline and structure and almost the shaming of people that were doing things that was unlike me. And that's, what difference does it make if somebody's doing net carbs and it works for them? Then have at it. Maybe it adds up to 50 carbs. When you hear people say, what's a low carb diet, like Dr. Westman or even Mark Sisson or Dr. Hyman, and you hear them say, some of them say it's under 75 carbs a day. And it's like, wow, total carbs. And so it's like, wow. And then, of course, if you follow the American Diabetes Association, you're supposed to have something like 150 total carbs with each meal. Yep, keep them sick, keep them on insulin, right? So, that part I would definitely, encourage you to give up some of those extra carbs. It sounds like it's a ham sandwich with potato chips, doesn't it? So, wherever you're at, and if you watch other people's videos, older people, if you're an older person, and you see that they went along with something and it worked, and then they struggled a bit and they gave it up, then maybe you aren't so odd after all. Maybe your gut's telling you, okay, I've done just animal products for the last 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months. And it's funny in my case, I'll watch some other female, I think she's around 40. She was talking about gaining weight, and oh, hi, Freddie. She was talking about gaining weight, and how many months was I gaining weight doing carnivore and still giving it the old go, because other people had lost a little bit of weight after they started and gained with carnivore, and then they lost. So I was, voting go Kelly Hogan, but then Amber O'Hearn gaining 20 while doing carnivore. And it's like, no, I don't want to gain 20 pounds. I don't think it's my body's deficient in all of those things. I think that, it's just a reaction. If I think I was eating too much beef and, getting to satiation, it just wasn't working. So I've changed up a few things. I feel lighter. I feel better. My khakis, which is my spring part of my uniform, the bottom part, they're getting a tad bit looser. I like that. It's going to take a while, probably. I think probably about 5 to 7 pounds I put on with the carnivore. I haven't weighed myself since February, and it's not anything that's pulling at me. I'm not like dying to see what I weigh. I just do what I do. I stick to the OMAD. I don't cheat. If I'm having something like a raspberry, it's included in my chronometer because I'm still curious as to what I'm having. I used to, that whole time I was doing carnivore, I wasn't like weighing or measuring. I was just slapping that meat on that plate, eating away. And now I'm back to doing a little bit of measuring. It ends up that a fully satiating meal for my OMAD, like something like a 3-egg omelet with my sweet Italian sausage, maybe some raspberries on the side, is totally satiating. And it's like around 1,000 calories. I guess maybe my body is trying to tell me I'm not as special as others, and I can't have a 1.5 to 2.5 pounds of meat every day like some of the younger 30-year-old women that I watch do. So that's okay. I'm not starving. I don't think it's a starvation diet. I've never left the table still hungry. I've never, gone through the day and at 11 o'clock in the morning said, oh yeah, I am so hungry. I'm going to have this and I don't care how I feel. I haven't done that yet. And so it is what it is. And so if some of you, are struggling individually and feeling odd because everybody else is going on and on about the weight loss and the feeling lean and how great it makes them feel and how they don't miss, Bib lettuce, or they don't miss You get raspberries in the spring and the summer, because by now we are into summer, right? Um, and so, you're not odd, you're not different. You're just, I'm here and I have to talk every day and I have to express my honesty to you about how it's working. And as a 70-year-old female, almost 70, as an almost 70-year-old female, there's a few um, family members from the fruit and vegetable family that I do miss in wicked, wicked small amounts. But you know what? Those wicked small amounts do the trick for me. And I feel satiated. And my head says, I feel good for having those things. And my gut is not reacting in a vicious way. But I think it's not the poison, it's the dose, right? And so a lot of people say that all the time. So if you are struggling with what you're doing and you're missing something that seems so harmless, for me it's the raspberries. um, have a small amount and see what happens. Keep a little journal. I keep notes on my calendar um, about how it is and how it affects me. And did I have a bathroom episode, from having that? If I had 8 raspberries, would 4 be better for me? That sort of thing. Crazy, I know, but that's how simple it is for me. It's not giving up that food that an organic raspberry, really? I like it. And so, but if I have too much, it could be too much. And that's what I have to pay attention to, the dose. Well, I am just so glad you are here doing what you're doing. I still coach people. I'm an accountability coach more than, a keto carnivore carnivish coach. I'm more the accountability to you to follow your food plan, to do your tracking, because tracking I still think is important, and to, and I go over it every day. I still do that. And it not only works for them, but it works for me too. Just being accountable to another person privately, it really has made a difference in a lot of people's lives. So I still do that in case you were interested. But until then, or even without then, I'm so glad that you're here today. This has been my pleasure. I love to come on and do cute little videos and, spend time, cup of coffee, rebounder, and just let you know that there's older women that are figuring it out along the way and sharing that and being honest. I want to be, the genuine article with the foods that I have missed and that I'm now including. So I will see you the next time here on Pearls of Wisdom and Food. Thank you so much. Bye-bye for now.